Coming up on this week's newscast, we're featuring a profile of our soon-to-be graduates and a little on the changes to next year's schedule. All this and more on this week's episode. It's your last newscast of the year, Bishop Knoll. Get ready, because BNN starts now. Hi, I'm Maria Emilia Quiroga. BNI held their annual Graduates of Distinction dinner for their top senior scholars on April 12th, where 24 graduates were honored. The event featured one of Knoll's largest group of seniors with a 4.0 or above GPA. Here's Genesis Medina with the story.
This past February, 24 graduates with distinctions were announced. In order to qualify as a graduate with distinction, a senior must have at least a 4.0 by the end of the fall semester. These seniors put in a lot of work and dedication in order to reach those achievements.
In order to become a graduate distinction, I had a lot of late nights, a lot of hard work from difficult classes, a lot of time management and trying to decide if I wanted to do what I wanted to do or what I needed to do, and overall just prioritizing what I really wanted and where I was trying to go.
Ayana Wash is not only a graduate with distinction, but also the first Black valedictorian in Bishop Knoll history.
Nothing's impossible. As long as you put your mind to it and you work hard, you can do whatever. It was never the goal to begin with. I just was working hard, and if you really want something and you work hard enough, anything is possible. So just don't give up and keep pushing, because it gets hard. It gets really hard throughout high school, but as long as you keep going, you can do whatever you put your mind to, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't.
Mrs. Pastrick is proud of all these students, but she does have some concerns.
It goes twofold, right? So as a principal, obviously, I'm very happy that students take their academics seriously and they challenge themselves to do well. And on the other side, right, I'm a little data driven, right? So statistics matter to me, which means that it is an exorbitantly high amount considering the size of the class. So if you're looking at about 100 kids graduating, your graduates with distinction really should be about 10 to 12%.
Pastrick believes that the grading scale may have played a part in the high number of graduates with distinction.
Naturally, it will probably lower the number of graduates with distinction. It will not affect anybody's current GPA. So if I'm a junior student, your GPA, you're still rolling in with it. The difference is obviously if you have a 94%, it's a different percentage, it's a different point scale now, right? It's still an A, but it's an A minus, right? So that's gonna affect GPAs, and the idea for that is it should really start to balance us out a little differently, in the sense that graduates with distinction will be kind of like that 12%, 10 to 12% that it should be.
Ayana shared some motivating words for students at BNI who are working to become graduates with distinction.
Enjoy the time. There's a lot of stress on schoolwork and all that other stuff and time management, but enjoy your time. Don't take on more than you can do, because you want to savor the moments, because high school ends up going by really fast. So just take your time and really enjoy the small moments that you have with your friends and the games and the extracurriculars, and focus on doing well, but also focus on having fun and preparing yourself after you leave.
Because of increasing enrollment, BNI administration is already making plans to handle next year's large student body, including adding an extra lunch to the schedule. Here with more information is Adrian Guerrero.
Because of increasing enrollment next school year, Bishop Knoll will use a slightly alternated schedule with 3 different lunches. The reason for the additional lunch period is to combat long lunch lines and the lack of space in the cafeteria.
There are not major changes in the schedule. We really like the way SRT lays right now. We're hoping to give a little body, a little more support during SRTs, specific to helping support students and improving kind of some knowledge base for testing. But as far as affecting the students, the schedule shall not be different. The only thing is lunches. We're breaking into 3. So your lunchroom might actually have less people in it next year. Sure. So last year we added staff already to the core departments. Next year we're going to add kind of the finished product of how we plan to maximize our growth at this point. Be 5 additional teachers, which means that we'll be able to keep the classroom sizes smaller, so between 20 and 25 per classroom still. And in addition, we'll have to add other pieces throughout the building to help support it, such as in cafeteria, staff, etc. We also have talked about looking at our office staff and maybe finding ways to more efficiently function to better maximize kind of our investments in different positions. Something that will impact students is we are moving to 4-minute passing periods. The reality is with your iPad use, you really don't have the need to always run back and forth to your locker anymore. And what that does for us is allows us more instructional chance to maybe support students through COVID learning loss and give them more information to make up for the loss. This might be hindered a little bit when you're looking at more kids in the hallways, but the reality is the need for going back and forth to your locker has tremendously been reduced in the last 2 years.
Ways that this would be beneficial is for like students for it to have like an equal amount of space for all 3 lunches.
And finally, once again, we're reminding students to be prepared for iPad collection. All students must turn in their devices to their 7th hour teacher after their last final exam. If a student doesn't have a final exam 7th period, he or she must still bring their iPad, cable, case, and charger to their 7th hour teacher once they are done completing projects and tests.
After a resurrection year, the boys volleyball took a court once again, with this time the biggest roster yet. The team, coached by the girls volleyball coach Dave Rodriguez, celebrated their senior night 2 weeks ago before ending a mediocre but inspiring first-year season.